Skypp, are you there?
I am. How you doing?
I'm good. What's going on?
Not much. Not much.
Thank you so much for having the time to meet with me and we just want to get to know a little bit about you. And I know that you have been doing so many interviews and just everybody's wanting to know about your music. And I'm sitting over here jamming to your music for the past few days. And I'm amazed. Okay, so first, let me introduce myself. I'm LaTanya. I am one of the personalities for Purposely Awakened, and I'll be doing your interview today. And Mr. Horton, am I saying that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. We just want to get to know you better. Disclaimer, this is not going to be like a regular interview. Okay. It's a conversation. And I'm not sure if anybody has ever wanted to get to know you behind the music. Everybody wants to know about your music. Everybody wants to know the messages behind your music. But I really want to get to know you because one of the songs in 2011, you're like, let me introduce myself. I'm Skypp, and you are tuned in. And I was hyped to that, man. So let me be quiet, introduce yourself, and just tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so my name is Skypp. I spell it Skypp. Born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana. You know what I mean? As a kid, my mom didn't do too much talking. We didn't have many like conversations, building the bond and whatnot. It was basically just you get a whooping or you get a pat on the back if you did something good, you know what I mean? So the communication thing was never there for me, and I felt like writing my thoughts and my feelings down is what really helped me. It wasn't even raps at first. It was just writing them down. Maybe you can call it poetry or whatever, but the more I did it, the more rap music became popular in our environments, in our communities. So eventually, I tried to follow that wave and turn them words into raps, into lyrics. And it wasn't until high school where I actually rapped out loud in front of people. And the response was just amazing, you know what I mean? Because in a world where everybody's rapping about the streets, I was coming with some substance as a 14, 15-year-old. So, that was really the birth of Skypp, the artist, you know what I mean? And my fan base was super supportive and really big in high school, which led me to graduating high school and, and deciding to not go to college, but to pursue my music career. So I've been doing that since I graduated, you know what I mean? And it's led me to so many great places, and I've been able to accomplish so much and inspire so many people. You know what I mean? It's just beautiful. And here we are today, still going strong and still succeeding, still prospering and still progressing. Even after all this time, still progressing.
That's beautiful. Wow. So you found an outlet. Mm-hmm. Is what I'm getting from your story with all the things that you mentioned. You found an outlet, and that was putting your words, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, everything on paper, and mm-hmm. then putting it to music. Back then, when you were 14 and 15, what artist inspired you?
He was already deceased, but I was a huge fan of Tupac. I just loved how he could balance like his activism thing and his thug thing. You know what I mean? I loved how he could balance that and not even be contradicting himself, you know what I mean? Just showing that, hey, it's okay to be this and that, like it happens, you know what I mean? So I really appreciated Tupac. It's a lot of artists I listen to, but he was probably the number one inspiring force, with my music and with my life, period, honestly.
That reminds me, my cousin and my aunt, they are big Tupac fans. T-shirts, books, everything, you name it. I'm not really into hard rap, me personally. Yes. And not saying yours is hard rap. What I mean by that is the mask that people say that these artists portray. Mm-hmm. So you have your Tupac, your Biggie, your MJG, you have those artists, and instead of listening to their music, getting those opinions from other people may deter me from not listening. But I listen to your music and just the messages behind them, it makes me want to dig deeper. So I know that you have albums dating back from 2011 and further on. Yeah, I think you created 10 albums from then till now.
Yeah, I've created about 16, but like the ones I did in high school, like I just can't it hasn't been that long, but just long enough to where, it was CDs back then. And once you lost the CD, like you lost the music. So, you know, nowadays it's hard to lose music because you can upload it to all these different places. And if you ever need to go listen, you can just go listen online. But then like it was CDs and CDs only. And once that last CD was gone and nobody else had their CDs, you know, you just lose the music. So I've lost at least 5 albums.
Oh man. Okay, I don't need you to be like Drake. Somebody find his phone and make stuff. I need that to happen.
Right.
So with that, I want to get a better understanding. Did you have the mindset to have a message in your music or to be an advocate?
Well, it was different parts of my life. Yeah. When I was a kid, I know I said I came in with substance, which I did, but more than anything, I was really on some ignorant, you know, punchline rapper, trying to rap like everybody else type thing. But I was in a rap group when I did that, and the person I was in a rap group with, I had told him one day, I'm like, I can't do this no more, you know what I mean? Because it's not helping me, you know what I mean? And I want to go a more soulful and spiritual route with my music. And he didn't understand then because we was both young, but I got it, you know what I mean? Like I saw that I had power and influence. And I just felt like I wanted to talk about things that I really felt rather than all this violence, because I didn't feel that. You know what I mean? I was just saying it because it was popular. So yeah, I would say yes. And even to this day, you know, I go through different things in life, and it just kind of wakes me up where I'm like, this needs to be spoken about. Like King of Indiana is honestly an album about Indiana having a racist history, and as an urban community trying to erase that and create a new Indiana to where that we're memorable rather than just our history. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say yes.
So does that bother you in any way for the things that you speak about, making it have a life, making it come alive? The things that you see on a daily basis and you're putting it into your music to have a message, does it internally bother you?
Not really. It inspires me more than anything. I understand a lot of stuff. I have like a real great understanding of like life and why things happen, and you know what we can do to affect change. So it doesn't really bother me. If anything, it just inspires me, you know, to keep doing what I'm doing and create change, you know, and spread love, really, honestly, for the most part.
So how are you doing that now? King of Indiana. Yeah, I saw that album cover. How are you doing that now?
I mean, I'm learning that people are really into an aggressive approach. When you try to present some kind of, you know, ultimatum, and you're doing it in like really humble and sweet tone, like I've learned that people don't really gravitate towards that. They want their people to be confident. They want them to be aggressive. They want them to be intentional, you know, when they speak about plans and ideas. So King of Indiana, you know, was really just like, man, it's hard to make it out of here as a Black man. Like they don't take urban Indiana serious because of the racist history of Indiana. And that's something I see everybody in Indiana struggle with. Every Black person is like, they can't get over the hump because people just look at them as, oh, you from Indiana, you know what I mean? Like, what, you know? So I wanted to speak about that. And I got songs like Sundown Town USA that really dive into the roots of Indiana. And I learned that if I come with this burning Confederate flag on the cover, and I speak in this music with conviction, confidence, a little flamboyant, you know what I mean? People can relate to that more because it's more confident, it's more intentional. And rather than how I used to do it, which would be like, I wouldn't cuss and I'd be real soft and real soulful. And, you know, to some people that come off as whiny, even if I wasn't trying to whine, you know what I mean? So I'm learning over time that the world just gravitates to more aggressive things because that's all they see is aggression. That's all they see every day. So even if you come in with positivity, you got to give it to them in a way that they're familiar with.
Yeah. Okay. So you're speaking to your audience in a way that they can understand.
Yeah, because I mean, who I'm trying to speak to are Black people, are the streets. That's who I'm trying to speak to, and you got to just understand their nature, you know, what they come from, what they're used to.
Okay, I'm coming up with a few more things. I'm curious. I'm curious now because I did see your album cover and having a Confederate flag burning on it. But like, do you think if somebody were to pass your album on these social media platforms, would they be interested to listen to it because you have a burning Confederate flag on it. Just I'm putting your music of today in today with all of the things that have been going on. And there is a Black man who is saying he's the king of Indiana, burning Confederate flag. How do you cope with that? And have you had any backlash?
I mean, it just depends on the person. It depends on their background. If you're from Indiana and you know the history of Indiana, then you may be interested. If you're not from Indiana and don't know anything about Indiana, you may not. And there's some people who ain't from Indiana and they know Indiana's history. So they're like curious, you know what I mean? Like, where is he going with this? And that may drive them to listen. There's some people who look at it and be like, hey, that's BS. I wouldn't dare support that. You know what I mean? Whether it be because they like Confederate flags or whether it be, you know, just they may look at it as like there's no purpose, like there's nothing behind that. You know, just assuming rather than listening, you know, and seeing what I actually have to say. But yeah, there has been backlash, you know, mainly from Caucasian people. You know, they just feel like even the people who don't necessarily believe in the Confederate flag and what it stands for, just Caucasian people, period, not happy with how I went about everything. You know what I mean? Just kind of like basically saying Indiana is ours. That's how it feels when they talk to me like, hey, you're a clown. Like, this is a joke, right? You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just offended that a Black man would even come to the forefront and say that. You know what I mean? But I haven't gotten many hateful things. You know, it's just more of people not feeling it, not agreeing with it. And I mean, I've had one person stand up for the Confederate flag, just one person. The rest of them may want to, but they didn't. They just would say, hey, you're not the king. Freddie Gibbs is the king. I've heard that 1,000,000 times, probably like 100,000 times. You know what I mean? So I keep hearing that. But wow. I mean, more than anything, you know, what I've heard firsthand has been support more than anything. The people I've heard about other people saying stuff, but nobody says anything to me for the most part, except for the Caucasian people. But it's a mix. It's a mix. But I focus on the support. I focus on the love. I don't really
focus on the positive.
Yeah, I don't give the hate much of my attention. I don't really acknowledge it too much unless I'm just being sarcastic or something, you know, just just something funny.
Okay. Well, I understand that. So guys, if you're watching, which you will be watching soon, if you do not know the history, please go to the history before you judge. Another thing I want to say, Skip, where do you hope to be in the next 5 to 10 years with your music career?
Well, I mean, some people will call me a veteran. It's been a long time coming. I know for sure that in 5 to 10 years, I'll have everything I ever dreamed of. You know what I mean? As far as being on tours, Billboard charts, maybe even Grammy nominated. You know what I mean? Like, I see that in my future, and it's a very realistic thing for me. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful just to be where I am now, knowing where I come from and all I've been able to accomplish. Like, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm good as long as I don't give up on myself and as long as I stay focused. I already know what's in store for me. I just got to prepare myself for it.
When those things come to you, which you're there, you're already there. Exactly. When those things come to you, how will you give back to your community?
I'm basically just do what I've been doing because I give back in abundance already. But you know, just to be in a financially better place, like I can do so much more. You know what I mean?
Tell us more about that. Tell us more about your vision to give back to your community.
Yeah, well, I work in the school system. Also, like I work in the school system part-time. COVID kind of slowed everything down, but I've been working in the school system since 2015.
I understand.
Yeah, I've been working there since 2015, and I just love being around the kids and showing them a different perspective, a different, you know, type of role model than what they may be used to. So all I have to give them now is music and advice, you know what I mean? But just being able to show them, you know, financial success through what I do, because that's what they fear most is, you know, being broke. A lot of kids in the school district I work for, they are raised in poverty. So that's all they know is like, hey, like there's not much out here. And a lot of them turn to the streets. But if I can show them that what I got going on is also a financial success and I'm able to, like, you know, build recreational parks for them, build, you know, all these different things, and maybe even have like, you know, giveaways, all kind of stuff you can do financially. Like they just want to see that form of success. And I feel like I could, if I could provide that, it'd be such a bigger effect on them. You know what I mean?
And to see it come from somebody that they know firsthand.
Right. And
that's amazing.
It's been years invested too, you know, so for them to be able to see that come up, and for them to know like, hey, it took patience, you know what I mean? It took a while, you know what I mean? But it happened, just to let them know like it can happen, you know what I mean? Like it really means a lot to me for them to see that. Like it probably means more than me actually making it myself, just for people to see like and be inspired by it. Cause that's what I always needed. Like I still to this day haven't seen a person come from nothing and get everything they work for. I haven't witnessed that. Majority of urban Indianapolis hasn't. We don't have any successful people from here. You know what I mean? Babyface did it, but I wasn't born. I didn't get to see that. Michael Jackson did it, but I didn't get to see that. You know what I mean? But as far as hip hop, nobody has done that from Indianapolis in the history of Indianapolis. You know what I mean? So like basketball players, yes, but I wouldn't say they came from nothing, because they always had that talent. You know what I mean? It's kind of a different story when it comes to hip hop. But I just know how important that is for a person to see that, and to see that it's possible. So that's what means the most to me.
I am touched. I'm really touched. The reason why I'm touched is because you are putting yourself out there. You're being vulnerable, you're being honest, and you're being open. And with that, you are putting yourself in a position to be a leader, and also somebody that the kids can look up to and your community can look up to see a person coming from A and making it all the way to Z. So me, I work in the school systems as well. I'm the environmental science educator for a company here in Birmingham, Alabama. And to be the only African-American person always out there, making it my own personal platform to help these students see a better future, to see somebody that looks like them do these amazing things, that's what makes it worthwhile for me. And for you to be able to make your decisions and everything worthwhile to you, to make it, to let these kids see that. Now that's mind-blowing.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You are very welcome. What are you doing now is my question.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got a pretty dope feature from a celebrity on my new album. His name is Rhymefest. We just did the video for that about a week or two ago. That video will be dropping in the next few days. So that's what we plan on.
Stay tuned. I'm watching it.
Yeah, that's what we plan on pushing for probably the next, few weeks up to a month, because that's something I've never had before. It was a celebrity feature, you know what I mean? So that's something I want to push until everybody is aware of what happened from Indianapolis. And side B of my album, King of Indiana, is already done. So whenever the momentum falls or decreases or declines or whatever, we're going to just turn around and hit them with that. It's going to just be nonstop. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? Just make sure we keep the momentum up, because that's the problem with artists nowadays. They can't carry the momentum. And that's something I definitely want to try to do, is to keep my name in their mouths, and, until it becomes a household name.
Is that the reason why people be making them diss albums?
Oh yeah, I get diss plenty. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever put out a diss?
Nah, I don't diss people. I did in high school. I had a couple feuds with people, but nowadays I'm too focused to try to acknowledge that. I've learned that energy can really shift you in negative ways. So I try to leave it alone.
Perfect. Okay, so celebrity feature. I want to know so this is supposed to be a conversation. So if you got questions to ask me, you can ask me too. Now I know that you just had a birthday, March 18th. Am I right?
Yes,
am I wrong? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect, dude. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So you're young. You're young. You're one of the young artists. I'm not too much older than you. Shh, don't tell nobody. But you're a young artist. How do you think that you're a veteran, but you're a young artist?
Yeah.
But how do you think that these well-known artists, because you're like, when I tell you you're there, when you get on the same platform or even a better platform than they do, how do you think that they will receive you?
I kind of have went through this already. It wasn't like,
tell us about it. We don't know.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't like the celebrities, but just like having people above you and then being in the same room as them, period. Like, for instance, when I first came out of high school and I was like, okay, now I got to take over the city. I took over my high school, but I'm not a kid anymore. It's time to take over the city. So when I got in these rooms with all the movers and shakers in my city, I kind of went through that where I was like, I don't know how they're gonna react to this, you know what I mean? But we just gonna put it out there and see what happens. And it's happened in multiple instances. I've been out of town and other places with their movers and shakers, and so I've been through it. And every single time, it's like, dude, where'd you come from? Like, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? Why ain't you here? Why ain't you where we think you should be? And it's always those questions like, dude, you are ahead of your time. You're amazingly talented. Like, what is going on? And I think the issue is that people just expect, I don't know what they expect. You know what I mean? It's not as easy as it may look or as they make it sound, especially when you come from the struggle. I don't have any financial backing. All I have is social media and my grind. That's all I got. You know what I mean? So it's not as easy as some people may make it seem. But if I'm being honest, I've never not impressed a person higher up. Like, they've always been impressed. Like, man, this is amazing. You're dope. So I expect the same thing to happen. Yeah, I expect the same thing to happen when I'm finally able to get in front of your P. Diddy's and Jay-Z, all these people who are on top of the hip hop world. I expect the same thing to happen. And I expect them to say, I wish we would have found you 5-6 years ago. You know what I mean? But it's a work in progress and it's a journey. I'm grateful for every day of this journey because it's helping build character along the way. It's helping me to understand and appreciate my worth. So I'm good with it.
Nice. So we got a few more minutes, and I just like, do you have anything that you would like to tell the viewers of Purposely Awakened about yourself more, what you're doing, where you're going, anything else that you have in the works that you didn't mention on this interview? And also tell us your social media handles and your first and last name, because I only said your last name.
Will do. Yeah, my name is Skypp. My name is also Byron, which is where I was born as Byron. My social media is SKYPP317, which is Skypp. Skypp is spelled SKYPP. If you just Google that, everything will pop up. My website, social media, music, everything will pop up. I really want to learn more about the Awaken podcast also, though. You know what I mean? Like, how long have you been doing this?
Oh, see, that's not my department, but I could definitely shoot you over to some people who got more information, and I'll share something with you too, because I do have your social media handles. So I'm going to forward you some links to that. You're going to like it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to stay in contact with you guys and you personally too, that's one thing I'm trying to do, be better at is building relationships. That's something I never really was able to do coming from my background, like just never learned how to communicate with people properly, so I'm working on that, going to therapy and all kind of crazy stuff.
I can help you with that.
Yeah. It'd be appreciated. Every bit of help is appreciated for sure.
Why is it hard for you to make relationships?
Wait.
I'm asking because you are now, this may be an out there question, and also I know the answer to this question, but I want to ask you. You are popular. People want to get to know you. Why is it hard for you to build those relationships or have conversations with people?
Like I told you, it's the way I was raised, you know what I mean? I just wasn't raised to communicate properly. And even though I'm like the sincere, genuine guy and I care about people and I love people, like I just never learned how to really build with people. Like everything has always been like so hard, you know what I mean? And just isolated. That's how it's always been. And just what I've witnessed was isolation from other people. You know what I mean? That's just how my family always was, like, beefing with each other. My mom don't want to be bothered with us, with nobody else. Like,
are you my cousin?
That's just how it always was, and that's you can't really run from your upbringing. it takes a special person to be able to do the opposite of everything they were raised to do. You know, that's just who I am. But I'm trying to change it, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I have all the tools to do everything I should be doing. I gotta learn it. It gotta be a new learned behavior because I've learned the opposite.
Okay, so what was the last book that you've read?
I don't
I'm
read
going
books.
somewhere with this. I'm going somewhere with this. What was the last book that you read?
I don't read books.
No, okay. That's no problem. That's no problem. I'll tell you about a book that I just read. It's called The 7 Levels of Communication by John Marr. I'm saying his last name wrong, so please forgive me. There is an acronym that I use when I communicate with people or I want to start building a relationship. It's FROG.
Okay.
F-R-O-G, FROG. So that acronym stands for family, recreation, occupation, and goals. So to kickstart a conversation, you can ask somebody in your own way about their family and then say, hey, well, what do you guys do, in your spare time? Like, where do you go to have fun? Recreation. What do you do for a living, occupation? And what are your goals? And so you're getting personal, and then you're getting to their goals of what they want to see themselves in the next 2-3 years or whatever, so forth. And then you can put yourself in that situation to see how you can help them. That's just something you could use. You can practice on your own time. Your own time.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah, for sure. Just having like a step-by-step guide to communicating. I can appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I'm going to share with you some audiobooks too. I like audiobooks.
Yeah, that's something I could get into. I don't know why. I never liked reading. I was always one of the best readers in my class, but I just never liked reading. I don't know.
Oh, come on, Skip. I
Only
gotta
thing
put
I've
you
ever
in.
read. Only thing I've ever read was the Bible, and I
Hey,
didn't
you
even
gotta
finish
read the
that.
basic instructions before leaving Earth, and half of the people don't even read that cover to cover.
Right. Yeah, I didn't read it cover to cover. I read it. I probably read about 1/3 of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I skipped the Old Testament. I'm like, it's a new world. So that was the first thing I did. I ain't gonna lie.
It's okay. It's okay. So last thing before I let you go, because I only had a few minutes with you and we get to that 30-minute mark. Unless you want to keep talking, I don't mind. Where did you come up with the name Skip?
It ain't really no amazing story. I was just it was
Any
actually
story is an amazing story.
Okay, I can dig that. It was one of the first raps I was writing. I was at the dinner table with my mom, and it was an ABC rap. Every word rhymed with flips, skip, nip, drip. You know what I mean? So I'm like, whatever name I make, mama, I want it to rhyme with these words. And if I went through flip, all kind of different names, but skip really worked for me for some reason. And then she's like, well, how you gonna spell it? And when she asked me that, I'm like, that's a good question. Like, I didn't expect to hear that. And I'm like, well, I don't want to spell it regular because everybody spells skip like this. And then I'm like, well, let's do Skipp. And then I was still like, nah, I don't like that really. Then I came up with Skypp. And it gets mispronounced a lot, which I don't know how, but it does. And it's okay.
Skype pronounced that way?
No, I got an E at the end of Skype. Yeah.
I don't know. People, I was like, when I saw, so your person sent me information, I was like, I'm gonna just say Skip. I just want to say Skip. So I'm gonna say Skip. Yeah. And so I found out it was Skip. I was like, okay, I'm right. It's Skip. Perfect.
I'm glad you got it right. Yeah. I mean, it don't really bother me when people get it wrong, but I don't know. When I made it, I just felt like it was, it would have been a little more understood, but hey, it is what it is.
Hey, the most fantastic things are the things that are misunderstood.
That's true. That is true.
So don't even worry about it. So anything else you want to let us know before we let you go?
I'm good. I just, if you're checking this out, I encourage you to check out the album King of Indiana. It's not solely about Indiana. It's for any location in the world that really doesn't appreciate its urban communities. Just trying to speak for the urban communities of these places. Check it out. Follow me, SKYPP317. And yeah, just join the journey,
All right. So I'm hyped because I've been listening to your music and I'm going to continue to listen to your music. Yeah, I'm going over to that side, guys. I'm gonna leave my neo soul R&B to the side to listen to Skip's music, but it's okay because
Appreciate it.
his music is really good. So, Skip, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Stay on. I'm gonna stop recording. We can talk a little bit more off the chat. Um, Also, guys, make sure you follow Purposely Awakened. Make sure you follow Skip. Look him up. Support him. This is a great young man, and we all want to give him and show him our support. So we can't wait to see you in those big lights, bigger lights, and see you in the future. Thanks, Skip.
Thank you.
Guys, that was an amazing interview with Skip. Now, if you have not heard his music, you need to listen to his music. It tells a message, it tells a story. Some of it, to me, it makes me wonder about different histories in different states. So I only know, I'm not sure if I'm speaking only for myself. I only know history of Alabama. I don't know as much from where I used to live, which was Temple, Georgia. And I don't know about the histories in other states. It makes me want to dig deeper into the history. So get up, go out, learn some history, read your books, find out more information on Purposely Awakened. You can also follow me at lscott3257 on Instagram. I work out, I lift heavy. Bye, guys.